Hey everybody, welcome to Mammoth Interactive's YouTube channel. First of all, I want to thank you for watching this video. And remember that this channel doesn't do Patreon. Instead, we sell our digital courses down below. And every single dollar that we get from the products you buy below goes into making more content. The best way to help out this channel and Mammoth Interactive is to subscribe to Mammoth Interactive's huge library of content. Get thousands of hours and hundreds of courses for a low price down below. We have a monthly option and a yearly option. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the video.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to our course. In this lecture, we are discussing what is the XRP ledger, commonly called XRPL. The XRP ledger was built over 2011 and 2012, originally called Ripple. The XRP ledger is a deep layered ecosystem of software projects that power and enable an internet of value. It's a ledger, meaning it's a decentralized ledger or a blockchain. And being a blockchain, the XRP ledger is secured by cryptography and powered by a distributed peer-to-peer network of servers. The XRP ledger is unique from a ledger like Bitcoin because the XRP ledger does not require mining. The XRP ledger is a shared global ledger that is open to all, it's always online, and entirely public. Anyone can access the XRP ledger directly from a web browser. The basis of the XRP ledger is the peer-to-peer network of always-on servers. These servers are sharing transactions using consensus protocols and processing transactions. The transactions are processed in blocks. Just like any other blockchain, it is a chain of blocks. Each block is commonly called a ledger version or a ledger. Each block contains the current state of all balances and objects stored in that block. The block contains three key pieces. First, the metadata about the current block version. This includes the index, the cryptographic hash or unique identifier for the block, and information on the parent block, which was the basis for building the child. As well, each block contains the set of transactions that were applied to the previous ledger to result in this one, because remember, the blockchain is a chain of blocks. With the XRP ledger, it runs with a highly reliable, efficient server called Ripple. This server manages the ledger database, and the database can only be updated according to the rules of that blockchain. The server enforces the rules of consensus and transaction processing, so it enforces how transactions or blocks are added to the chain. Ripple APIs, server application programming interfaces, allow users like you and me to look up data from the blockchain to administer the server and to submit transactions to the blockchain, like if we want to transfer XRP coin or if we want to perform some other action. The XRP ledger uses XRP cryptocurrency, similar to how the Bitcoin blockchain uses Bitcoin cryptocurrency and the Ethereum blockchain uses Ether. The XRP ledger uses XRP coin. XRP is the native cryptocurrency of the XRP ledger. The first block contained 100 billion XRP, and no new XRP can be created from then on. XRP is measured precisely to the nearest 1/1,000,000th of an XRP, called a drop. So one XRP is represented as 1,000,000 drops. There are also tokens on the XRP ledger. A token is any asset on the ledger other than the XRP cryptocurrency, because that's the native cryptocurrency of the blockchain. A token can represent any type of value. Some examples are a stablecoin. A stablecoin is a token on the XRP blockchain. The stablecoin is backed by assets that exist outside of the ledger. Another example of a token is a purely digital token created specifically on the XRP ledger. Another example of a token could be community credit or a non-fungible token or NFT. All of these are possible with the XRP ledger. Tokens can be fungible or non-fungible. Something like a currency would be fungible because each coin is interchangeable for one another. Like the dollar bill, every dollar bill can be interchanged for another dollar bill. You can also have tokens that are non-fungible. This would be an NFT, where each token is unique and cannot be exchanged for another token. Tokens can be used for cross-currency payments and can be traded in the decentralized exchange. Join me coming up next. We're going to discuss the consensus protocol on the XRP ledger. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to learn what is the XRP ledger's consensus protocol. First, let's discuss consensus in general. Consensus is the most important property of any decentralized payment system. The consensus protocol was the solution to the double spend problem. So it is at the heart of the blockchain, and the initial reason that the blockchain was so unique and helpful is that using a blockchain technology or decentralized technology, you can solve the double spending problem. The double spending problem refers to spending the same digital money twice. For example, if I send you an image over email, I'm sending you a copy of the image, but I can't do the same with money. If I want to send you money, I can't send you a copy of my money. That would be counterfeiting the money. It would be spending the same money twice because we would both have that money. And this is actually a problem with digital money. It's much easier to spend the same digital money twice than it is if you're using cryptocurrency. So the invention of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology was actually built to address this issue of the double spending problem with digital money. So thanks to the consensus protocol, which is at the heart of digital ledgers and blockchains, we can prevent users from spending the same digital money twice thanks to cryptocurrencies and the consensus protocol. And it's a lot harder to do so. A lot harder to double spend. The hardest problem with double spending is putting transactions in order. Without a central authority, if you have two transactions sent at the same time, there can be disputes about which transaction happened first. So this is also an issue. And with the consensus protocol, we address that core issue. Because with a consensus protocol, we have a set of rules that all participants follow. Every participant can agree on the exact same series of events and their outcome at any point in time. So we have the blockchain where all transactions are logged and they can't be changed or rearranged. And therefore, it's a lot easier to agree on what event happened at what time because the blockchain shows exactly when all events happened. And everyone has the same copy of the blockchain. So there are many consensus protocols out there. Let's talk about the consensus protocol that the XRP blockchain uses. Everyone who uses the XRP ledger can agree on the latest state and which transactions have occurred in which order. This is thanks to the consensus protocol. All valid transactions are processed without needing to have a central operator. That's because blockchains are decentralized. You don't need a central entity to control transactions and to verify what event happened at what time, because the blockchain itself manages all of that and everyone can see when all events happened. All valid transactions are processed without having a single point of failure. The ledger can make progress even if some participants join, leave, or behave inappropriately, such as try to do something they can't or try to hack. If too many participants are unreachable or misbehaving, the network will fail to make progress rather than diverging or confirming invalid transactions. So thanks to the consensus protocol, we check transactions to make sure that they're valid, and therefore we don't add invalid transactions to the blockchain. We are confirming transactions without wasteful or competitive use of resources. This is a unique advantage of the XRP blockchain specifically, because its ledger, its protocol, can confirm transactions without an overwhelming use of resources. The XRP ledger's consensus protocol does not require multiple confirmations for immutability. This is again unique because lots of other blockchains like Bitcoin, they do require multiple confirmations, which slows them down. But because the XRP ledger's consensus protocol doesn't require multiple confirmations, this makes it a lot faster without having to compromise security. So XRP ledger is faster and more efficient at processing transactions than the Bitcoin blockchain or other blockchains. So that is an introduction to the XRP ledger's consensus protocol and its role. So now you can see it has a critical role in maintaining the blockchain because the consensus protocol is in charge of checking transactions to make sure that they are valid. Next up, we're going to discuss the stack levels of the XRP ledger. So join me in the next lecture. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to discuss the XRP ledger's stack levels, otherwise known as the XRP ledger's ecosystem. So what is available for us to work with the XRP ledger? Everything in the ecosystem is built on top of the network, that core peer-to-peer network, directly or indirectly. One aspect that is available in the ecosystem are programming libraries. These are imported directly into program code and contain methods to access the XRP ledger. You can connect to the XRP blockchain with JavaScript, Java, Python, WebSockets, and more coming. So you can interact with the XRP blockchain from your favorite programming language. You can use HTTP or WebSockets to connect to Rippled APIs directly, Rippled being that server that's maintaining the blockchain. Programming libraries simplify some of the common work of accessing the Rippled APIs. Programming libraries are instantiated fresh and shut down with the program that imports them, the program being any app. The most popular example of a programming library to connect to the XRP ledger is XRPL.js. This is accessing the blockchain with JavaScript. XRPL.js is the longest standing, most well-supported library for accessing the XRP blockchain, but there are other libraries for other languages as well. Another aspect of the XRP ledger ecosystem is middleware, where you can consume the XRP ledger APIs on one side and provide the middleware's own APIs on the other side. Middleware allows for indirect access to the XRP ledger data. Middleware makes it easier to build higher-level applications. Apps that are middleware often have their own data storage and processing. Middleware will typically stay running indefinitely and may have its own database. One example of middleware is the Data API. This collects and transforms XRP ledger data. Then you can query the data by time, filter by data type, or perform data analysis easily thanks to the middleware that is the Data API. And another aspect of the XRP ledger ecosystem are apps and services. Users and devices can connect to the XRP ledger. For example, a decentralized app. You can build a website or a piece of software that can interact with the XRP ledger, and then your clients or visitors can access the blockchain from your app or service. Apps and services are for user-level interaction with the XRP ledger. They provide the basis for even higher-level apps and services. So that is an overview of the XRP ledger ecosystem. Join me coming up next. We're going to discuss XRP versus Ripple. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to clarify the mystery of XRP versus Ripple. Ripple provides advanced blockchain technology for global payments. Ripple is a company that is building technology for high-performance payments. The company is leveraging the power of the XRP ledger through an on-demand liquidity service. Ripple built an open-source developer platform to build real-world payment solutions on the XRP ledger. You can find more information at ripple.com. Ripple has regularly sold XRP, used XRP to strengthen the markets and improve network liquidity, and incentivize development of the greater ecosystem. The XRP ledger was initially called Ripple, so sometimes there can be confusion between Ripple versus the XRP ledger, because oftentimes you'll see Ripple terms used in the XRP ledger, for example, the rippled server. But there is a difference between Ripple, the company, and XRP, the ledger. Nowadays, Ripple is used to refer to the company, and XRP ledger is used to refer to the blockchain. Join me coming up next. We're going to discuss the XRP ledger's payment types. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we are discussing the payment types available on the XRP ledger. There are direct XRP payments. This isn't the most standard type of payment where you just send XRP directly. There are also cross-currency payments available, which deliver a different currency than they send. You can also have the payment type of a check, where you create deferred payments that can be canceled or cashed. In the XRP ledger, there's also the opportunity for escrows, which set aside XRP and deliver it later when a certain condition is met. As well, there's the option of partial payments, where you can subtract fees from the amount sent. This allows you to return unwanted payments without additional costs. As well, on the XRP ledger, there are payment channels for fast, asynchronous XRP payments. XRP can be divided into small increments and settled later. So those are the payment options available on the XRP ledger, and more payment options are being added over time. Join me coming up in the next sections. We're going to learn how we can use JavaScript to access the XRP ledger with a web browser. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to learn how we can access the XRP ledger with a web browser. I'm going to show you how you can write your code online so that you don't have to install anything. Just go to jseditor.com. This is an online code editor where you can write JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. If you want to build a project offline, then you have to build an index.html file and an index.js file, and then load the JavaScript file into the HTML file. But for our example, we are going to use this online editor. Here, the first thing we have to do is we have to load XRPL.js in the website's HTML. So go to the HTML tab and add in a script that links to the XRP ledger. Here we're referencing a script with the script tag. Then we are putting in the source of the script. The source of the script is using a CDN to load in the latest version of XRPL.js, which is 2.1.1 at this time. And as you can see, the script is a JavaScript file. Then we close the script tag with a closing tag. So this means we now have access to the XRPL.js library. So we can write our JavaScript in the JavaScript tab, or if you're offline, in a JavaScript file that you then reference with another script tag. So here, let's get started with a simple example of accessing the XRP ledger with the XRPL.js library. I'm going to open up an asynchronous function, which means that it can return some promises using the await keyword. This means it can allow for functions that have to take some time for a request to occur. I'm going to call my function my getXRPL function. Inside of the function body, I'm going to create a constant that is going to connect to the XRPL API. So I'm going to instantiate a new XRPL.client. So here I am using the XRPL library to instantiate a new object. The object is from the client class. Inside of the client constructor call, I'm going to pass in my connection point. I'm going to connect via a public server to the XRP ledger. So I'm going to use WSS followed by xrplcluster.com. WSS is an alternative to HTTPS. Then we're going to use the await keyword, which means that the function that uses await has to take some time to execute. So we have to wait for the function to complete before continuing in the code. So I'm going to use await and call API.connect. This allows you to connect to the XRP ledger. And we're using await, so that means the rest of the code will wait for this function to occur before continuing to be compiled and read. And next up, we are going to make an example of performing a request with the XRP ledger API. So I'm going to create a response variable and use await again. This time I'm using the API to make a request. So I'm using the request function. And note that because we're using await, again, we're going to wait for this function to complete before continuing. So first we wait to connect, then we wait for the request to be performed. The request will return a response. In the body of the request, we pass in the data about what kind of request are we making? What do we actually want from the XRP ledger API? So I'm going to pass in my command, which will be to the ledger. I'm going to pass in my ledger index as validated. And I'm going to pass in my transactions true. So here I'm passing in several properties for my request. So the command is for the ledger. I want to get a validated ledger index, and I want to see the transactions. All right, so then we can console.log out the response. Now, if you want this function to actually run, currently if you press the run button, nothing will happen. That's because, yes, we built the function, but if we want it to do its job, if we want the function to execute, you have to call the function, not just create it. So you have to call your function somewhere outside of the function. Then you can hit run, or you'll see your results immediately. So the results that we get returned is an object. That is our response that we're logging out. And we can see the object has ID 0, the result is an object, and the type is a response. You can click on object to inspect the result itself. So here we get the node pref, the ledger, which is an object itself, referring to the blockchain, the ledger hash, the ledger index, and validated true. So this verifies that we've been able to get the response. You can also log out other variables here to inspect their value, such as the API itself. So the API contains data about what you can access with this API, all the functions that are available to you. All right, and there are more available as well. So that is how you can connect to the XRP ledger with JavaScript. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to explain the XRP ledger public server. Previously, we learned how to connect to the XRP ledger with JavaScript, and we used this client object and we passed in this link. This link is actually a link to a public server, the xrpcluster.com server. With a public server, we can submit transactions to the blockchain or read data from the blockchain. In this case, we are using the XRPL server. This is the JSON RPC URL to that server. The operator of this server is the XRP Ledger Foundation, the company behind the XRP Ledger. And the network that we're connecting to is the mainnet, which is the official network where all transactions occur. But there are other public servers that you can use to connect to different networks with different URLs. You can also build your own rippled server, so you can have your own connection point. This is recommended for regular use or for sustained or business use of the XRP ledger. But if you're just connecting for development purposes or learning to connect, then you can use a public server. But if you want to build an app for production, you should build your own rippled server so that you'll have your own connection point to the ledger. So that is what an XRPL public server is. It's the starting point for how we can connect to the XRP ledger via our app. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to discuss how to debug JavaScript. Debugging is the process of solving errors or figuring out why your code didn't result in what you expected it to result in. So to debug JavaScript, the number one method is to use the developer console available on every web browser. So open your web browser to any web page. I'm using Firefox as my browser, and this will work on any browser, but each browser may have a slightly different method for accessing the console. So you open your browser and then open your browser's developer tools by pressing F12, which means holding the FN key and the F12 key to open the developer tools, or go to the top right-hand corner of your browser and select More Tools, then select Web Developer Tools. This will pop open a tab at the bottom of your web page, and here you have access to an inspector where you can see different elements of the web page, and you can even select different elements of the web page. You have access to the console, which is where you can read error messages that may occur or warnings. So in this case, I have some warnings in yellow. Error messages will be in red, usually. You can also read logs. Logs will allow you to read out different logged messages that you printed or that were printed to the console. All right, so you can see information and debugging as well. So if you ever use console.log, then you'll see your results in the developer console. This is similar to on jseditor.com or online code editors where they have their own console. As well, in the web developer tools, you have a debugger. You can access your network. You can edit style of the page. For example, try out changing the style of the web page. You can check out performance, memory, and more. But the most useful one is the console. Here you have a native JavaScript console. You can actually execute JavaScript in here. You can type in JavaScript, and you can get insight into what code is running on the page. So if something doesn't occur as you expected with your code, then you can look in the console to see what went wrong. And again, this is similar to the console tab on an online code editor. If you do get error messages that you don't understand in the console, then search them up online. There are many developer websites out there like Stack Overflow and GitHub where there are many answers. Odds are if you have a question, you'll be able to find an answer with enough time doing the research on the answer. So those are some tips on how to debug JavaScript projects. In this lecture, we are going to learn how to connect to the XRP Ledger testnet with JavaScript. All business that takes place on the XRP Ledger happens on the mainnet, which is the production network. The testnet is a parallel network, one of two alt nets. There's the testnet and the devnet. The test network has its own separate supply of test XRP, and it works the same way as the mainnet, but in parallel. And that way you can test out your projects without having to spend your real XRP. The devnet is very similar, but it also includes beta features that are in development. You can get free test XRP from a faucet if you need to use XRP to make transactions. Then when you're ready for production, when your app has been tested, then you can connect to the mainnet instead of the testnet. Let's check out how we can connect to a test network with JavaScript. So we're going to use similar code to what we used to connect to the mainnet. All we have to do is change the server. So instead of using XRPL we're going to use s.altnet.rippletest.net. This is going to allow us to connect to the test network via a test server. And we can log out our response to verify that everything can still be executed correctly. You can hit run or wait a moment if the running occurs automatically, and then in your console you will see an object returned. The type is a response, and you can see the result object. You get the ledger object as well as the ledger hash, the ledger index, and validated, so you can see more information about the ledger as well as the transactions. So that's how you can connect to a test net instead of the main net. All you have to do is change your server connection point. Join me coming up next. We're going to continue learning how we can access the XRP ledger with JavaScript.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this course. If you want to watch the rest of the course, the link is down below. Not only do we get the access to this course, but you'll get access to a lot of other courses in a huge bundle, and it's on sale today. So buy before the sale ends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.